Gonten hi lama te yonten dodo tsombarni pergutes, gonten hi lamas. However, it is indispensable that the teacher we follow should possess at least the following qualities. And here is like he should be pure. Why he should to be pure? What does it mean? No, this is like kind of the maybe English translation. He should be pure. Why? Because never having controversed any of the commitment or prohibitions related to the three types of vow. The external vows of the Patimokkha, the inner vows of Bodhisattva, and the secret vows of the secret mantrayanas. And like in the externally, he should be pure because and he took from the vow from the Patimokkha's tradition, and there are like kind of the 250 different discipline precepts, and also it's like who is a you be teacher in the externally, you take these vows at least decades before, and during the taking vows, what you have the commitment like prohibitions, and you never break, and perfectly continuously kept this sort of external qualities. Inner qualities, inner pure means one is like inner vows of the Bodhisattvas, and you take from your own teacher or from of the Buddha and Bodhisattvas, follow up the traditions of the two according to the Buddha's action or according to the Buddha's view, or it's like according to the application bodhicitta or aspiration bodhicitta. And anyway, you take like kind of the both aspiration and application bodhicitta's vows. There are principle 18 vows, discipline. And also you took and you practice, you experience, and this sort of, and also you like kind of minders, it's steamed, like steamed or the moist, your mind is by the water of the bodhicittas, and kind of the concerning sentient beings. And also it's like since you took these vows of the Bodhisattvas, you never kind of the against it, never kind of the controverse, and any kind of the discipline of the Bodhisattvas. Then it's like therefore inner pure these persons, and pure of the in the secret vows of the secret mantrayanas. When you are received according to any kind of the mantrayanas, like outer mantrayanas, inner mantrayanas, or you can to say it's like the four tantric path or the six tantric paths. During the received empowerments, there is the kind of many different according to the six tantras, each tantras, there are the samayas. But the most samaya important is you never ever any kind of broken or against it or controversed it, like against it your own teacher's samaya of the Buddhi speech, minders. You kept the perfect. Therefore, even that this person need to secret pews. Therefore, he or she, when we are follow, there is the insurpassable qualities of the should be pure. Externally pure according to Patimokkha, inner pure according to Bodhisattvas, secret pure of the secret mantra yanas. And also there is another qualities. It is saying that he should be learned and not lacking in the knowledge of the tantras, sutta, and shastras. And your own teacher is follow the he or her own teacher and studied years, spent many decades or maybe long times, and with own individual teachers to study it. There is nothing lack of any knowledge about the suttas, about the tantras, about the sutta, the shastras. These three are the Buddha's teaching to establish the liberation path, establish the state of the perfect Buddhahood. It's tantras, there's like kind of the 4 or 6 tantras, and the sutta is the causal Tripitakas, and shastras in India, Tibet, many different like realizations comment to the Buddha's teachings. Any kind of the like this sort of subject matters, your own teachers need to familiar and great have knowledge that kind of the 3 perspective. And also it's like another is towards the vast multitude of the beings. His heart should be so suffused with the compassion. What does it mean? So suffused means only aware of the like single thoughts benefit for the sentient beings. Like vast multitude and must like kind of the vast limitless like kind of the sentient beings concerning. It is like therefore we call the Bodhisattvas. Your teacher is really is like one-pointedly concerning those sentient beings, according to this person's compassions, that love each one like his only child. For example, good parents, they have how many children doesn't matter. For them, it's like 1 child or 2 child, 3 child, doesn't matter. There's impartiality concerning this my child. Like day and night, parents concerning child. Like this good teacher, good qualified teachers, only the soul surfaced with the compassion, love, and each one like kind of his only child, only concerning the sentient beings. Then that is the most qualities. And also, it is like not that kind of. And he should be well versed in the ritual practice, outwardly of the Tripitaka, and inwardly of the 4 sections of the tantras. Versed, that means intelligent, familiarities. He or she, someone is you, undertake your teacher. This teacher should be well versed in ritual practice. And like outwardly means it's like Tripitakas. For example, Suttayanas, like kind of the Vinayanas, according to Vinayana, any kind of Patimokkha about the different discipline perspective. And also it's like the Suttayanas, any kind of the different perspective of the samadhis, meditations. And also in the Abhidhammayanas, different kind of development of the wisdoms, terminologies, philosophicals. all this kind of the teachings and the rituals and the need to familiarities and inwardly to do kind of the 4 sections of the tantas, like a kind of all the tantas connect to the creation stage, dissolution stage, according to the kind of creation stage related to the mandala, how to settle mandala, how to kind of different type of the dharma, mudra, melody, dharma instrument, everything is necessary. And also it's like the according to relate to the dissolution stage, channel, bindu, and kind of pranas, how you can to meditate. And all this kind of the 4 sections, 4 sections of Tantra, Traya, Upa, Yoga, and then Mahayoga. When you are counting the like kind of the 4 Tantras and like this. But in the Mahayoga, it is divided to the 3, Mahayoga and Aniyoga and Ati Yoga. Then it's the 6 Tantras. Any kind of these 6 or 4 Tantras and relate to the kind of the creation stage, dissolution stage, and also it's like according to the Tantras, view, conduct, and also it's like kind of all what the necessary, this kind of like be well versed, your own teacher, and then you can rely on this sort of teachers. Therefore we call try to find the spiritual friend who has the proper qualification. And also when we examine is like kind of the teachers, and also 3 type of the kind of the teachers you can, to example, like a longer way you need to hear your teacher's biography, histories. Examine teachers like kind of the teacher from the distance by what you hear said about him or her. And then it's from the close up by the, maybe you can to see, visited in the front of your eyes. It is really pure, it is really is excellent. Maybe you can to listen teachings, and you can to like a few months at least, years to be together and how it is, and like this, and from close up to what you can see for yourself, and by the such means, and also sometimes deviations to make, and some ask, and like kind of like this, then it's everything is this person's well versed, like kind of the inner way, outwardly, and everything. Then maybe you can to follow. And then is by the putting into practice the meaning of the teachings. And also when we analyze, maybe your own teachers, maybe learned, very much well-versed, be well-versed, very scholar, very intelligent. But this person's how practice. Look, many is our in the past masters. We can to listen themselves. They said 10 years, 12 years. For example, in like kind of in modernly, there's like Longchen Nimpa. There's like Genshen Longchen Nimpa, like kind of the Ashram Lama Todense. This is in Dzogchen, very famous master, 6 Dzogchen Rinpoche's teacher student. And he's like recently passed away. He was 12 years only like kind of the meditation on his teacher's pity instructions. By the putting into practice the meaning of the teachings, whatever received the teachers, not the kind of modern way. Modern teachers, today you received, tomorrow you teaching to others. Like kind of normal schools teachers. Tonight we go to in the Mr. Google to get a lot of informations, and to collect, go to in the bookshops, buy different book and in collected, then you call the Buddhist teacher. And then you ask, did you practice? Maybe even this person says, I'm not really Buddhist. Then why you are called the Buddhist teacher? Then maybe it's like, I can do teach. Yes, this sort of not. Here is the qualified teacher. They're putting into practice the meaning of the teacher teachings when they received, and afterwards it's like kind of the examining, checking with the teacher to all the clarified doubts, everything, and then ask teacher. Now everything, teachers to check the student. Now I think your mind there's not much doubt. Everything's clearly. Now you should go to make retreat. Then the person's putting into practice the meaning of the teachings. How many? Least short way is the 300. At least you need to make retreat 100 days. 100 days. This is the worst educations, worst situations. 100 days never make retreat. It's very difficult to teach. You learn, but you haven't got any experience yourself. And then how you become the teacher? Like by the putting into practice the meaning of the teachings, very important word. And he should have actualized in himself all the extraordinary achievement of the riddance and the realizations. Riddance means abandonment. Realization is to realize it. And riddance of all the obscurations, disturbing emotions, and like kind of this to abandon. And then it's like this adventitious or obscuration is more dispelled, more purified, your inner realization is occurring. Then you have extraordinary achievement. It is like kind of someone's achieved the third bhumi, third path of the seeings. And then it's like go up like kind of the 10 bhumis. Each moment there is such a kind of achievement of the riddance, realizations, each bhumi, each paths. The ending extraordinary achievement of the enlightenment, 10th bhumis. This is through the practice, through the putting into practice the meaning of the teachings. Nothing kind of only you receive the teaching and then you to teach others. Yourself is absolutely darkness. But you kind of like a parrot. It's like sometimes we say it's like some parrots. You teach a mani padme hum, the parrot say a mani padme hum. The meaning is not there. Exactly like this. Sometimes it's like moderns, lamas, and kind of the teachers. They want very much teach immediately. Of course, if you're like kind of activities, maybe you have such a compassion, and same time you develop the compassion to make the purification yourself. Probably okay, maybe I'm really not sure, but generally speaking, it's like this. And also this person is such a qualities. There is we call the 4 kind of the attractive, like kind of the actions in order to collect some fortunate sentient beings, like as disciples. He should be generosity, and it's like really in the teacher is like some fortunate student or any student has such a kind of the generosities. Maybe this generosity is like through the not the kind of the only the dharmas, materials, verbally, the physically, and making generosity to collect to the fortunate student. Because it's like kind of the beginning you collect student different way. Maybe first you give small things, belonging things. Maybe it's like physically you be very close, like become families. And this kind of generosities. Then he's like kind of the language should be very pleasant. you are good, excellent, all the times to prayers. Of course, sometimes teachers, students all the time digging the defect and like kind of the criticize. This is maybe you be like kind of very close, and then it's like become for parents and children's. And then children's is like don't listen. Then teacher like parents loved, but sometimes a little bit wrathful. Like this, but maybe teachers beginning is immediately to be wrathful, digging kind of the defects, maybe it's dangerous. Therefore, to kind of the like skillfuls. And also he should teach each individual according to that person's needed. And they should act in the conformity with that he teaches it. Saying something. And also the activity acting according the like kind of the fortunate student. Maybe fortunate student also sometimes like cannot to be same as the teacher. And maybe it's like kind of the sometimes according the student. Like some my teachers like this. Even I want to play with them, sometimes they can to support, play whatever we requested. If we study very well, we like kind of really to good student. If we request any kind of teachers kind of acting, kind of help, kind of like kind of the to supporting to us, like this sort of teachers. And therefore, these 4 ways of the attacking beings enable him to gather fortunate disciples around him. It is very necessary. And it's like qualified teachers, like kind of like this. Of course, sometimes very much kind of I am like qualified teachers. It's like kind of all the times against all the other fortunate students. That is not correct. But it's like maybe it's like to be really familiarities with the teacher student until there. Maybe it's like you cannot difficult to tame. Of course, sometimes fortunate student, they understood the teacher's qualities, then immediately no problem, like kind of just in Malaripas. And immediately they met each other, like kind of marvelous torched, and very much panicked to him, punishment. But he continued practice, patient, diligent, and never like kind of the lose the courage, angry. And then finally, it's the like almost the more than the like kind of the enlightened being, benefit for sentient beings. The teacher said, maybe we can make the joke. And Mara and Malas is really activities. Maybe Malas more larger than in this world than the Marvalotas. Like this, even that we can see the Buddhas. Sometimes it's like Buddhas. He was there, maybe like his teaching, maybe few thousand, but like some his disciples later, maybe millions is like teachings expressed like kind of his teachings. Disciples like kind of the more large activity than the Buddha himself, but of course inner qualities are the same. Like this, then it's like sometimes it's a like kind of fortunate student. Okay, immediately you met like be wrathful, but generally speaking, like some sadik begin to be very need this necessary for way of the attracting, being enable him to gather fortunate ones. And this one is like quotation is come from the Jigme Limbas, the treasure of the precious qualities, chapter 5, verse 12-13. And he said, all the qualities complete according to the pure Dharma. This ones I'm really not sure, I want to check this. In Tibet, Tambu Chusern Tadat Dzogpanas, and all the qualities complete according to the pure Sat Dharmas. According to the pure Sat Dharmas. Here is the Tambu Chutsels. Tambu Chutsel means the qualities of completely the authentic beings. Dharma, maybe we can to say. For example, the authentic being's qualities is the learned and like kind of the you can to write, you can to give teachings, you can to like kind of all any kind of study, the reflections or contemplating meditations, very much learned, kindness, this sort of qualities like kind of talking here, or the qualities completely according to the pure Dharma, I don't know, the completely authentic the beings, okay, maybe my understanding, and like this sort of like kind of teacher is are hard to find in these decadent times. Of course, degeneration times, some is like authentic being, completed like authentic qualities, endowed this being, very difficult, like in the above is described, and more in like kind of, for example, learned perspective can dispel all the student, like whatever they have doubts, questions. And also it's like a kind of the understanding of the meanings, and can is like in the sutta, thanta, shastras, any kind of like kind of the give you pit instructions. And also it's like kind of the giving the teaching times really is like a profound, and the student's mind is like kind of the shaking. And also it's like the realizations, according to the realizations, the teachers can transform into the blessing to the students' minds. Like this kind of the qualities are the authentic beings. This sort of being authentic, hard to find in this decadent times. The decadent times, the degeneration time of the time being, and like a kind of the many, there's a life spent and a view, and there's like and the 5 decadent times, difficult to find. But at least here is said, but trust the teacher who, based on the pure observant of the 3 vows. This is described above. At least who you want to follow some teachers, there is observe the 3 vows, like a Patimokkha, Bodhisattva, and the secret mantrayanas. And also it is like kind of the qualities, authentic qualities. It is steeped in the learning and great compassion, the mind streams. You can to say it is mind stream, steeped is like kind of moistured in the learned and great compassions. And learned like the moistured the mind, like kind of the mind is very soft, mind is peace, mind has such hearted towards to good hearted towards to the sentient beings. And like kind of learned, like kind of the teach any kind of the sutta, thanta, shastras, and also to dispel all the doubt of the student, great compassion, and skilled in the right of the infinite pitaka and the tantras. Here is the right means is intelligent, and the skill in the intelligent of the infinite pitakas. There's a kind of the most sutta teachings and tantra teachings, 84,000 teachings. Is this infinite, vast, but teachers every entirely to understand. Whatever you have question to go to the like teacher, ask everything to understand. We call the omniscience, this sort of. And also, and the rich in the fruit, in the immaculate wisdom that comes through riddance and realizations, and like kind of the like kind of the obscurations, primordial wisdoms, completely kind of the maturation of the kaya's wisdoms, through the kind of the riddance. Riddance is like kind of, and the, how do you say, it's like the defilement, obscurations, like purified through the like kind of the riddance. And also it's like a kind of the how to say, endowment of the Buddha's Kaya's qualities as coming through the realizations. And therefore it's like this immaculate wisdoms endowed these teachers. And down by the billion to follow of his four attractive qualities. The four attractive qualities, he says, like kind of the generosities, pleasant sound, and also like acting according to the fortunate student, and also to like kind of the action itself is the benefit for sentient beings. This is kind of the four attractive qualities. And then it's like the fortunate disciples will gather like bees to follow him. This kind of, and like skillful teachers, and really it is like kind of the full of the some flower, honeys, and then it's honey bees, is automatic millions follow like this. And then is the more like specifically here it says, more particularly very important perspective for the teachings on the profound essence of the mantra Vajrayana, pit instructions, the kind of the master opener who one should rely on is as the follows. Secret mantrayana, Vajrayanas, summons we need to give, or we should receive some pit instructions. And this giver of the pit instructions need such a kind of the good qualities. Very important, the kind of masters we are upon whom should rely on. Which kind of we need this sort of. And also it's like a kind of the Vajra spiritual teacher, or we call the lamas, or the Vajra masters, who is possess the quality explained in the text of each of the different sections of Tantras. And it is like the, really is like, which kind of the particularly qualities we in here say. And like a kind of as set out in the precious Tantra, he should have been brought the maturity by stream of ripened empowerment, following down to him through a continuous unbroken lineage. You know, this lineage, very, very important. Continuous unbroken lineage. Maybe it's a modern sometimes. Lineage is which kind of important? Like a kind of a little bit in the Buddhist perspective, okay? Become the Bible. It's very sad. For example, like our Buddha of the Jesus teaching, the Bible, there's no lineage. And if I wanted this teaching to study, I go to buy the book. I can go to in the cave. I can to study myself. And reality, according to these teachings, who has experience, who can to teach to us, very difficult. There's like kind of no existent continue unbroken lineage. Then maybe you need to create new something, it's like kind of teaching. But of course, as I begin says, some intelligence, of course, like a Bible is only one book. Maybe they can to study the science, and they can to study things. In Bible they can to learn, memorize, maybe few days. They can to teach you very well. God says like this, Jesus say like this. But where is the unbroken lineage? And how it like kind of this like kind of stream of the ripening empowerment, this maturation. He's the set out in the precious tantas. Precious tantas. They are like kind of the hearing lineages, like kind of the symbolic lineages, mind lineages. This any type of the three lineages is necessary, unbroken lineages, needed your teacher. And he or she should have been brought to the maturity by the streams, maturity, like kind of the river of the ripen empowerment, outer empowerment, authentic empowerment, inauthentic empowerment, secret like empowerments. Everything's their own route teachers give. This one unbroken lineage carriers. Then you can to drink this steam water, unbroken lineages water. It's a very mineral water and kind of the such a kind of the benefit. Maybe someone has the muddy kind of broken lineage. If you drink, maybe more become sick, therefore very dangerous, taking care. And even teacher, this kind of quality is necessary. And also this teacher it himself, he or she should not have transgressed the samaya and vows to which he committed himself at the time of the empowerment. When we are receive kind of the empowerment, it is like the different sections of the tantras. And at that moment is like kind of, we have this samaya commitment. With nothing tenders unbroken, that is you are the good teacher. For example, in Guru Rinpoche's, and like kind of he's been in Nepal, and he asked one lady, give me one transmission. And this lady said, you are the Pema Sambhava, second Buddha. Why you ask to me that? I'm just broken ladies. And Guru Rinpoche said, doesn't matter, you have pure unbroken lineage from the Buddha. She has these unbroken lineages. And Guru Rinpoche asked request to this lady and she offered. And unbroken lineage is the most very important. Your teacher need unbroken lineage. Our student also try to continue unbroken lineage to offer the new generations. Is very, very important. Very important. Modern times, we are follow at the normal our schools. When we go to the university normal schools, parents pay a lot to the teachers. And students go to there, teacher is your job. You need to teach them. For example, sometimes in our West, you go into some Dharma teaching organizations, say, yes, you can come to attend your teaching, but you need to pay. Ticket is maybe €200, $50. And like this kind of selling the ticket, then is Lamas coming, it's like Lamas selling the teaching, and organize is like kind of the, maybe something is offering to the teacher, but something is, we need to an organization. And we don't know, like kind of the big business. And then is this kind of unbroken lineage, I'm really not sure. And in this perspective, it is like kind of really is we forget it. Like says, I'm going to the a university or normal school. Okay, I don't need too much respect to the teachers. Teachers, they like teaching. Okay, teachers think I'm receive, I have salary, and then it's like kind of the constantly that, and just to look the time, it's like 1 hours finished, bye like this. Maybe you have some good relations, sometimes not good. You can to criticize each other. And students go to in the universe normal schools. Okay, teachers like this, and you can come back. Strange teacher, eyes problems, noses problems, ugly lady or ugly guy, and you are nothing respected. And because you paid, it's like kind of the job companies. And this sort of the influence, and then is normal in the Dharma teachings. Also is like we say, then there is like Samaya and like this kind of, we are difficult to in our like kind of the according to our knowledge, according to our culture. Say, okay, yes, what is the very important, our culture? I'm very sorry to sometimes says your cultures are alcoholic, your culture is drug addict. No, not like this, It's some is the necessarily to keep. Some, of course, culture is. In sometimes Tibetan people say Tibetan cultures. Some in Tibetan ancient cultures horrible. Get rid it. No necessary. And like some cultures, of course, it's such a kind of the benefit like this. But for example, Buddha's teachings to keep, to follow up, to continue concerning unbroken lineages, benefit for ourselves, benefit really to others, benefit for the next generations. If you become the teachers, you don't like kind of break your lineage. You carry on break lineage. You are the jewel, and the next generations taking refuge into you, they can to receive teaching from Buddha's teaching, Sutta Tanta from you. But you're like kind of the relations, your own teachers, kumsa kumsa, and in French say kumsa kumsa or so. Lot of there's broken the lineage, and it's like sometimes you follow, sometimes not follow, lot of criticize, and like kind of this, then it's like, okay, maybe it's nothing benefit for you, nothing benefit for next generations. Maybe it's better to, it's sometimes better don't follow. Because why we need to make more evil things? If you first times to follow up, and then afterwards you break down, and then to criticize, then doing such a kind of negative things, then we destroyed ourselves. And begin if you don't follow, okay, bye-bye. And then it's like kind of normal way, maybe kind of, and also it is like a little bit too concerning. We also concern the teachers or any kind of teacher. I need to follow difficult. It's true. There is many fake teachers, absolutely modern, like same as myself. Name of the teacher, but it's how they are carrying the lineage, and the study. All these things, qualities, like really teachers has these qualities. And like this, you need to searching, you need to example the teachers. Once you choose, then maybe why not to continue? Some teachers also coming, but it's like only concerning worldly, kind of the advertise, I'm like this and that. And also it's like a kind of the, you in the front of the student, really acting really superiors, very arrogant, and like this kind of, and there's like pattern which many describe us. Maybe sometimes like you can't too much to learn, can't much to study, only in the name of the teacher like this and taking care. Of course, then you don't need to like kind of the follow, but really you find the authentic teacher and like a really good teacher. Better continue to keep never broken the lineage, and also as much as receive the teaching. For example, in the modern, we well know the Tingun Chensi Rinpoche, Tingun Chensi Rinpoche. He's all the time, he's a list, he's what he received teachings. Whatever he received the teaching, he has this lineage, then he's offering to the next generations. Even sometimes he hasn't got some like a kind of the teachings, maybe Gaju, Nima, Sasha, Gelus, and then he go to even the normal monks. He said, can you give me this transmission, this kind of empowerment? Even the look at the holiness. He's taking any kind of lamas. There's like qualified teachers. He's running to follow the like kind of give me holiness, not necessarily to running after the lamas. But he see some qualified teachers, he go to their prostrating knees and request to the unbroken lineage, can you give me? How much concerning? They are not stupid. We need to follow. We need to imitating like this. Therefore, it's talking about the unbroken lineages. He should not have transgressed the samaya and vows to the true which the committed himself at the time of the empowerment, like kind of the different the 4 sections of the tantras, and particularly the path Mahayana and Anya, Ati Yoga, so on, possess the 8 qualities his teacher. And there is like kind of the annex, like kind of the teachers need 8 qualities. You can to look in the informations. His teachers hold the treasure of the teachings as perfect stream of the transmission and the empowerment lineages, and especially examine more the particulars which teacher is the pity instruction according the Ati Yogas. Maybe it's like kind of when you are received the most important, the 4 empowerment, specifically to the path of the great perfections, which are the like kind of the implication of the 4 empowerment, the lower like kind of tantras, like there is a liberating, instead unelaborating, elaboration, or it's that very in like kind of elaboration, very short, and there's like kind of the empowerment, or it is like a 4 empowerment, generally vast speech, mind, and the precious. And according that times what we receive the samayas, we should do differently to study. Very important, this kind of what we received during the time of the empowerment. And then these samayas to keep, generally speaking, is like most samaya, you receive the pity instruction empowerments, and we never against this teacher's body, speech, minds. Then maybe we can to keep, we have unbroken lineages. That is very good. And also according that, not having many disturbing negative emotions, very much like kind of lesser negative emotions, and the thoughts like kind of the thinking maybe worldly, or I like kind of the follow the great masters, how I will become the like kind of famous, intelligent, and maybe I may become the more better than the teachers. You know, sometimes like somehow spiritual great teacher, maybe teacher is very famous and very like called the holiness. You maybe close and like long times be together. You have like according the disturbing emotions and negatives. Maybe sometimes like kind of, yeah, yes, my teacher like this, I'm more intelligent, I'm more skillful, I'm maybe better than that, but why the student, others people's not respect to me? I'm should to be something and something. We have this kind of, disturbing emotions, the negative emotions, the negative thoughts, is like really like kind of the student, like maturated their minds, like then is they haven't got negative emotion and thoughts. And our like teacher, when we have someone to follow who is have that this kind of qualities and tempt their own individual teachers, they haven't got any not strong disturbing negative emotions, thoughts, he should be calm and all the discipline and itself has. We should stop or not? Huh? 5 minutes. Okay, yes. 10 minutes. Like this. And also it's like not having any disturbing negative emotions and thoughts. Should be calm and disciplined. And the mind is like kind of tamed by their own teachers. Mind is like kind of the more soft by their own teachers. Therefore, it's like keep all the discipline. And he should have mastered the entire meaning of the ground, path, and result centers of the secret mantra, like a mantra Vajrayana. And one is like this teacher and follow their own teachers. And also it's like kind of the like a extraordinary kind of like the meaning of the ground, path, result. He should have mastered. He understood the ground of the samsara and nirvana, the ground of the Dzogchen great perfections, Vajrayanas, the path of the secret mantra Vajrayanas, the result of the secret mantra Vajrayanas. And the ground, it is like kind of unborn, unceased, untalkable, and nature of the realities. That is the introduced receive from their own teachers. It is the familiarities. And one is there are like kind of the truth that there's many different centers, the secret mantrayanas, entering doors, how you to practice, how you rely on. This kind of the examples. Example is like kind of the, how do you say, it's like a kind of the, generally, it is like kind of the undescribable of the non-conceptualizations. And in this perspective, maybe it is like in the path to saying that there is no kind of the abandonment, there's no adopting things, there's no existence of the samsara nirvanas and one-pointedness, and you maintain into the ground of your natural realities, and you are the familiarities. Then your result, it is the like kind of whatever existed in the ground, you bring into the path and to making the maturations, and that is the result. And there is, the deviation of the ground and the result, and no differentiation of the ground and the result. Through your experience, it's like the path. Through the path, you meditate on this inseparability of the ground and the result, and you maturated on moment, this unification of the ground and result by your path. You become the great masters, like lever of the Vijayadas, and therefore the secret mantrayanas. And according that, you should have attained all the signs of the success in the approach and accomplishment, the phases of the practice, such as the seeing visions of the hidden deities, you can to say. And also this, like in the according the centers, and according to like kind of the secret mantra Vajrayanas. Of course, it's like kind of in the path, there is like kind of the great approaches, accomplishment. And this is connected to the like kind of the creation stage, dissolution stage. Approach is divided to approach and near approaches. Accomplishment, great accomplishment. And according to Sadhanath, you have these explanations. And you're like kind of the approach and near approach, accomplishment, great accomplishment. That times you have such signs of the success, and you are like kind of realizations what you are accomplished, the deities, maybe deities of the Guru Rinpoche, Buddha, and like kind of Tara so-ons. You can to talk like kind of human to human, face to face, and like kind of giving process and showing the like kind of the teachings, everything. This kind of some teachers has their own experience, and through that, their mind stream is completely liberated. Having experience for him or herself, the nature of the realities, him or herself should be liberated, their mind streams. And then you are the qualified teacher. Absolutely. The well-being of the others should be his sole concern. His sole concern means one-pointedly, nothing thinking. You realize that the more nature of the realities, you your compassion is more strong, more developed. Like, for example, it's like old people to look at the small child, maybe 1 month, 2 months. This child is crawling in the floor, whatever get to eat it. And this old person's not laughing, not kind of putty thinking, this child is doesn't know nothing, even the poisons or not poison, don't know eating. Like this, someone's understood the realities, and then it's someone's not understand realities. They're very much confused, deluded, and then it's someone's understood the realities. Then they have such a compassion, irreversible compassion. Then it's concern is soul concerning to the benefit for the sentient beings like this. His heart being full of the compassions. Like this, I'm just to say today, there is the Buddha's history. I want to say it's repeated. You can to listen from the YouTube also these stories. And once is a Buddha. He was in the meditation place. And one guy, he took his son and came. And he says can you give me teach? And Dharma said. And Buddha has a special kind of methods, lot of examples. And he said, yes, okay, I will teach you. First, do you have sons? He said, yes, I have son. Oh, good. Your brother has sons. Oh, yes, he has, Lord. And your friend has sons. Oh, yes, they do. And someone's you don't know nothing at all. And also they have sons. Oh, yes, they have. If your son is died, are you suffering? Oh, yes, Lord. I cannot bear that. It's kind of the collapse all my world. How much I suffer. I cannot imagine. Oh, if your brother's sons died, how much you have to suffer? Oh, I'm sad, but it's not compared to my sons died. And then it's that your friend's sons died. Oh, it's a pity, but I haven't got much kind of the sad, the sufferings. If you don't know, it's kind of others. Sons died, or I haven't got any sufferings. Then is the suffering itself is also kind of the relative, and it is kind of it's not really truly existence. If you understand, then it's something. Someone is close to you is making you more suffering, and someone is more far if you don't not kind of. This is once. And then Buddha said, okay, yeah, I understand is the sad, this suffering is also relative. This is not really. Okay. And then you go to, have you been yourself and your son in the beach? Yes. Did you create sand castles? Yes. And my sons create. And the sand castles taken away by water, demolished? Yes. Your son is cried? Yes, he cried. And did you cry? No, Lord, I'm not cried. Why you don't cry? Because sand castle is sand cut. I understood. And then like this, if his sons, why your sons die? They cry. My sons thinking this sand castle is really existent. Really, there is kind of permanent. They're thinking like this. I understood sand castle, therefore I don't cry, and I'm not weeps. And then Buddha said like this, if you understand the realities, and then it's kind of not crying, and your suffering is absolutely disappeared. And if someone's not understand, and then they are suffering. Like this, if you understand the realities, You are not crying. You are like kind of the suffering is disappeared. But you understand other childish sentient beings, they are like kind of building the sand castle, doing all the follow like sand castle, rainbow and diluted things. They consider it as these things are real, truth, permanent. They are very much confusion. Therefore, if some is like a realization persons, when they more realize it, they have the more kind of the compassion development. Therefore, we can say that he or she is like the soul concerning sentient beings and full of the compassion. And also, he should have few preoccupations, for he has given up any clinging to the orderly thinking of this life. These lives, for example, ordinary sentient beings, they concern how I can become famous, how I can become like kind of the rich and comfortable, how I can to collect to all the worldly things, how I can to like kind of the taking care of my family, how I can to take care of my relative, friends, how I can to destroy my enemy, how I can to like kind of make a bomb to my enemies, this sort of. And there's a clinging, desire, attachment, aversion, so on. There's such a kind of the mind occupied by this. But someone understand that really Dharma practice should have few preoccupations. There's not much concerning the eight concerning like kind of eight world, like eight ordinary worldly concerning things. And they give up. Their mind is like one-pointedly concerning Dharma, not kind of the occupation of the worldly concerning things. And there's nothing clinging, there's nothing desire attachment, and there's nothing kind of ordinary thinking of this life. Then it's like their mind is very simple, peace, calm. Concentrating on a future life is only resolute thought for only the Dharma. And this kind of teachers, if we rely on, and we all the time successful. Okay, thank you. Maybe we can to stop there. Okay, there's one, the paragraph, and it says also it's like seeing the samsara as a suffering, he should feel great sadness and should like encourage the same feeling in others. He understood like kind of samsaric sentient beings. Samsara is like we sometimes concerning like kind of like a continent, but samsara is not really. Samsara is our inner, our sufferings. And then it's like some is a confused turmoil of the negative emotions and anxiety that like some sentient beings. There are the samsaras. When you like realizations to see them, they are all the times great sadness. How I can to liberate them, how I can to make dispel the kind of the ignorant and like kind of the confusions. And also it's like kind of telling to the others the defects of the samsara. You should to run from the samsara quickly to liberate yourself from the samsara. Therefore, these teachers all the times encourage the same and the feeling to the other fortunate disciples. And this kind of qualified teachers we should to rely on all the time. Yes, now it's like we can to stop half an hour, 12 o'clock we have, I don't know today question or answer. Yes. Okay. We have 25 minutes. Pourquoi pas?